Welcome, Amina, the lucid dream worker, to my podcast, Random Spirit. Thank you so much for coming on, girl. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for the invite. I'm excited to get into dreamy topics.
Yeah, so my girl here is a podcast host, right? What's the name of your podcast?
The dream world. It's basically
The
about
Dream.
dreams and lucid dreaming, all that kind of
Okay,
stuff.
the Dream World. And you also offer you're a dream coach, correct?
Yeah, so I have like an online course for lucid dreaming. I also help people one-on-one, and I also just love teaching people about dreams just by making content and stuff. So,
I love that. Okay. All
yeah.
right. We're gonna start off. I just want you to, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who Amina is, what she likes to do, where she's from, whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay, yeah. Well, I am from the States. I don't know if there's international people here, but um, I've always been into dreams and had vivid dreams and just like been into consciousness in general.
Hmm.
And I've always been very spiritual. So all this type of related topics have always interested me. But dreams specifically, I had lucid dreams when I was a kid. And I never really knew what they were or anything like that. And then, as I grew older, I started like researching more about it. I studied psychology. I got really interested in like studying like the brain and the mind and like what is consciousness and specifically like in the context of dreams.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I think it's really interesting. And now, like, I'm involved with like research organizations that study dreams. I make content online about dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my podcast is also about like related topics, just related to consciousness, spirituality, and science. I think bridging all of that is really fun. So, yeah.
Yeah. Can you define the difference between like a lucid dream and a vivid dream?
Yeah, so a lucid dream specifically means when you're dreaming and you're aware that it's a dream. So you're like, okay, I know that I'm dreaming right now. And it's
Hmm.
not like super easy necessarily to define. Sometimes it can be like a spectrum, like maybe you're kind of aware that it's a dream. But vivid is kind of just like a dream that you have all your senses and there's bright colors or bright textures. It's just very realistic, but you might still think that, oh, this is like a really weird situation. But if you don't realize that it's a dream, then you're not necessarily lucid. So vividness and lucidity are two
Hmm.
different
Yeah.
factors that impact dreams. They're both very important. But you can have a vivid dream that's not lucid, and you can have a lucid dream that's not vivid. So does that make sense?
Hmm. Yeah. Weird question. Have you ever had a dream where you were eating, like, and you like tasted it?
Yes, and it's so vivid, especially when I'm lucid. It's so realistic, and I'll eat like all the things that I haven't eaten or can't eat in waking life, and it's just so realistic. I'm always in shock at how like real it feels. I wish there
I
was more words for me to
know.
describe it.
It's so crazy. Wow. Um, okay. I love like Dream World. I feel like I don't know, like just going you could go down like a freaking like rabbit hole with this and just, for the longest I always had the thought of like what if like it's like there's I believe in multiple lives. So like what if we're living we're living in a dream, but then like when we go to sleep our mind keeps going and we're in another life.
Yeah, I mean that's why I say waking world instead of like reality because they're both
Hmm.
just as real to me and like if we're conscious of it or not, like I believe that we're doing things while we're sleeping, we're traveling, we're doing work, going places, like we're just continuing our soul journey and that's why I think it's important to like be aware of like, our dream life, see what we're doing. We spend a third of our life dreaming, like we literally
Yeah,
live in another dimension part-time.
which is so crazy.
I know,
What
right?
actually got like what was it that got you into the actual like dreaming consciousness and psychology type thing?
It started off with like just the community, like meeting people that are into dreams and talking about lucid dreaming and like kind of just finding that online community, starting a podcast. It kind of like took off from there. And then I met like researchers and I kind of got involved with conferences about dreams and consciousness. So I'm kind of make taking it and just following down that path to take a more like academic route with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that really just the community and just talking about dreams really kickstarted it.
No, I love that. How long have you been doing your podcast?
Since 2020, I started like around
Woo!
COVID.
I love it. Oh
I know.
my God. Okay, so like how do you interpret a dream? Like
So
how does that go?
it's kind of like, the dreamer really knows what the dream means. And a lot of times we'll
Hmm.
try to like find an expert or like a dream
Hmm.
interpreter and, somebody to help us or like Google dream dictionaries, which don't get me wrong, like it might help,
Hmm.
but um, that's not like the ultimate say. There's no one universal meaning for a dream, Because think about it, like my definition of like a snake
Yeah.
might be totally different than yours. If you love
Hmm.
snakes or hate them or, whatever, like all of these associations impact how your subconscious is talking to you and what it means. So it's like we all have our own personal dream language. But group sharing and just talking about your dreams and helping somebody like, dive into it can be really helpful for figuring out what it means. But in
Hmm.
dream work, we kind of do this thing of like, I'm not going to tell you what your dream means, but like, let's, analyze the symbols
No,
and think about
yeah.
connections. And, we even do like when I tell you, like, oh, if this were my dream, or like if I had this dream, like this is what it would mean for me. But like you can decide if that resonates with you or not. It's not like pressure, like, oh, I know what your dream means. Like that's kind of presumptuous of me to just say, just because I'm the dream expert, I know what your dream means. Because it's your personal dream, So like the dreamer always knows, but we can help
Hmm.
each other figure it out.
What does it mean when you have something reoccurring?
I definitely think that's kind of like something that we can look into as like what is our brain trying to tell us that it's like keeps showing up,
Hmm.
whether it's
Hmm.
something we went through that we're not fully
Hmm.
over, or a lot of times it's like a really good cue to become lucid because you train your brain to be like, okay, next time I dream about this, I'm
Hmm.
gonna realize like, oh yeah, this is that dream again. And then you can like confront it. It's kind of like a video game where you like beat the boss or like get onto the next
No,
level,
yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah, recurring dreams can actually be gifts if you use them to your advantage.
Oh, dude, that's like the first that I've heard. That's interesting, girl. I've been having a lot of dreams about like what is it called? Natural disasters.
That's scary.
And
Yeah, a lot of people do, especially with all the crazy stuff in the world.
I know. And I'm just like, I mean, for me, like I like to interpret water as my emotions. And there's a fucking tsunami coming the other day. And I was like, oh my God. And then my son was like next to a tree. And I was like, oh my fucking goodness. And then the tsunami came, but it didn't touch him. And I was like,
That's good.
good.
That's a stressful dream. Yeah, those dreams are so overwhelming too. Is it always like the same natural disaster, like same type of
Hmm.
tsunami?
It's a tsunami. It's if it's not a tsunami, it's a fucking hurricane. Like it has to do with water. And I know like
Nice.
internally there's a lot of like emotions or whatever. But
Yeah.
it's a lot, girl. What drives you to continue like with the work that you do in your podcast?
It's hard because like I obviously like anybody like self-doubt or think that like oh it's just really
Yeah.
getting anywhere. It's not like a full-time job or anything. But really what drives me is just like people that support me and like people that listen and
Hmm.
like collaborating with people like you and finding
Hmm.
other podcasters and spiritually thinking people. I just think it's awesome and it's like important work. Everyone kind of has their own thing. So like lucid
Hmm.
dreaming is my thing and it's something that I understand really well. So I just keep making videos about it. And even if I just get like one comment that's like, oh, like I really appreciate your work,
Hmm.
then I'm like, oh, that like really is a boost that I
Ah!
needed. So
Um,
yeah.
what advice would you give someone that does not dream, like whatsoever, but wants to?
I would say start like thinking about it, start setting the intention to dream, which sounds like so oversimplified, right? But like it really kind of works. Like, and not just thinking about it, but like having a dream journal, putting it by your bed, like telling your brain, like, we're going to start dreaming. And also, really, even more basic than that is like start looking at what factors maybe there's different reasons people don't
Yeah.
dream, right? Like,
Hmm.
do you have a good sleep environment, a good sleep schedule? That's kind of first level. What if you are using any substances that
Hmm.
might suppress your dreams or sometimes stress, trauma, different reasons. Like start at the
Hmm.
root cause of it. But a lot of times, just paying attention to your dreams goes a long way. Most people just don't remember their dreams because they don't keep a dream journal. Like you might
Yeah.
remember your dreams right when you wake up, but within 2 minutes, it's gone. So you're never
Hmm.
going to remember it ever again. But if you keep a dream journal and write it down, even if you just remember like one
A
word
little bit.
or like
Hmm.
one feeling or Doesn't even have to be like that much detail. And then if anything, just write down, okay, I don't remember, I'll try again tomorrow, whatever. It's a journal. So yeah, just start like putting some intention behind it.
Yeah, yeah. What did you want to be when you grew up? Like, does it align with
You
with
know,
what you do?
it's funny because like I used to never see like dream research as like a
Hmm.
valuable career. Like
Yeah.
society and just maybe my environment or whatever, I always thought of it as kind of like a spiritual woo-woo
Yeah.
stuff, whatever, you
Hmm.
know? But now that it's actually becoming neuroscience mainstream, and I'm like, wow, a dream researcher, that's a real career. So
I
it wasn't what I thought of
know.
as a kid because I didn't realize that was like a real thing. But I did want to do like journalism and like traveling. Like I thought National Geographic would have
Hmm.
been like the coolest job ever. But now I'm like, I resonate with that in some ways still. Like I still have this desire to like travel and see the world and like spread just love and bring awareness to
Hmm.
different types of things. So I could see that in it. But I think that like yeah, making content about dreams and like studying them is like the coolest thing ever. So I'm happy with that.
I love that you can do that. I feel like making content in general is just like maybe it's not my expertise.
It's hard. Like honestly, it's not mine either. I just
Hmm.
love talking about dreams, so I've been figuring it out. But yeah.
I love that. Um, what is the most challenging thing about like the work that you do?
Mm, sometimes it's like, not everything about dreams is like fun, happy, lucid dreams. Sometimes there's like nightmares and, trauma involved that, we need to work
Hmm.
through. But when it comes with working with other people, it's usually rewarding overall. A lot of times it's
Hmm.
hard, like if people are struggling to become lucid or they have a lot of like limiting beliefs,
Hmm.
or they're doubting themselves or they're haunted by their dreams. Everybody's different. Everyone has a different relationship with their dreams. But none of that is necessarily hard to work with. They're just like some of the challenges. I really like overall love
Hmm.
what I do. So I don't know.
No, yeah. Um, I have something on the top of my head and I forgot. I am so, so sorry, girl. It was there, Cynthia.
It'll come back.
What is like the theme of your clients and the people that you work with, like the niche of it?
Well, it's sometimes it feels quite broad, right? Because everybody at
Yeah.
least dreams or is interested in their dreams or has
Hmm.
questions about it. But there's like the beginners that want to learn how to lucid dream and like people that are actually determined to put in the work to learn the
Hmm.
skill. Because
Yeah.
it's a learnable skill, like going to the gym, you gotta like, be consistent. Um,
Hmm.
and then there's people that are already dreamers that just want to get in a community and learn new skills and deepen their lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
So it is still quite niche, but it feels so not niche because everybody dreams, even if you don't remember
Yeah.
it. But I guess not
Hmm.
everybody cares about their dreams. That's where
No,
it
yeah.
narrows down.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, like it's just a dream. Like it doesn't mean anything. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. It's like it comes and then it goes, what? Do you want to do like a little dream share between you and I? And
Sure,
how like
yeah.
we in like okay, so like dream share and then like we interpret or like just like what we feel it is or just dream share.
So it's up to you. There's never any pressure to like find the meaning right here and now, Like
No, yeah, yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
so many like methods that we can do and get into. Some of them are like long exchanges, it's like a whole process.
No, yeah.
There's also some like shorter, fun ways we could do it, like just share a dream or
Yeah.
but it's up to you. Like we can definitely get into some like interpretation tips. One thing I do like to do is like you can just like point out maybe symbols that stood out to you or, emotions and things like that.
Okay. I'll start.
All right, let's hear it.
I feel like, girl, I have so many dreams though. Um, okay, let's think about all the dreams that I have had. I had too many. Oh my God, why am I having difficulties going through my mind and all the dreams that I had? I have a lot of dreams in my childhood home, and it's the same thing. Like, over and over, and I'm in like in the room that it's like, I think I had told you this when we had like previously spoke. I'm in my room, and like a lot of the times, I don't know, like I wake up and I'm like, do I have children? Because I do have children. And then I'm like, and then I hear the kids and I'm like, okay, but it's like I know I'm dreaming, but I'm not. But like the lens is dark. Does that make sense? Like my view is dark. And then that's as far as it goes. Like every time I dream about like where I'm at, like in my parents' house, or even if I'm outside, it's always dark, which is weird.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's such a weird. Is it dark just when as you're waking up or like throughout the whole dream?
The whole dream is dark, girl. Like,
Really? And you just know where
and
you are, like you're blind?
it's like the shade. Like, right now I see there's colors, but it's like the shade is like dark. It's dim.
That's
It's like
interesting.
there's light, but there's no light. And then a lot of the times I'll like pinch myself, and then like if I can't feel it, or like I try to do something, because in my dreams, if I try to run, I'm slow.
Okay, so
And
you're a lucid
that
dreamer then.
that's how I know. I'm like, okay, well, I can't run, I can't do this. And I'm like, I know I have like a lot of like unresolved like trauma and issues to like heal and stuff like that. But it's always interesting how like when it comes to home, it's like the lens that I'm looking at, it's not bright. It's like it's like if I was colorblind. I don't know how a colorblind person looks, but my view is like,
I get what you're saying, like a tint or like a filter kind of.
yes, girl, it's a tint. And I'm just like,
Hmm. That's interesting that it's a certain type of dream. And that's what dream journaling helps with is kind of like categorizing like these types of dreams look like this and these look like this and like, what could that mean? That's interesting.
it's crazy. I have one more. I don't know if this is lucid or vivid. It was crazy. Now this one, where was I? I think I was in Virginia with my husband, and I was with, I think, my in-laws. I forgot where I was. Girl, I don't know. It's probably okay. You'll let me know if it's vivid or lucid. But I was talking, I was like aware, and then I just fall to the ground. And then like it was like I can hear, but I couldn't see. And they're like, "Oh my God, Cynthia." And I was just like on the ground, like So then a little after that, I remember I had got up and they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then like I was talking, and out of nowhere again, I like it's like I got tired, and then I fell. And it was, is that lucid?
Okay, so question. So when you passed out, did you think like, oh, like I'm passed out, like I don't know what's happening, or did you think like this is a dream, like this is not real? Or did you just
I
think you were
don't
just out?
I think I was just out. I like a lot of the dreams that I had, like I don't know, a lot of the dreams, unless it's like the one that I have in my childhood home or some crazy shit, that's when I question and I start pinching myself.
That
But
sounds
then
more like lucidity. It's interesting. I don't know. I've kind of had dreams like I don't know if it's the same thing, but I kind of relate to like
yeah.
passing out in my dreams or falling asleep in my dreams, and then I have these weird like consciousness journeys through the dreams. It's definitely
Hmm.
weird. I think it's kind of similar to lucidity. Like that's what I was saying. It's a spectrum. Like
Hmm.
however you classify it as yourself, but the fact that you thought like, oh, this is just a waking life thing, like this weird situation happening,
Yeah.
kind of makes me lean towards vivid as opposed to lucid.
We do both here, girl. We do. Do you want to share anything? You don't need to get too personal.
Yeah, sure. I was actually just writing down my dream journal before we popped up. I've been having some dreams. Let me see if I had a lucid one. I actually dreamed weird, random, funny things last night. I was like with a bunch of people,
Hmm.
and there was like a bunch of like guys around this table, and they were like having dinner, and they were
Hmm.
asking me in my opinion, like, what do you think about the dinner? And I was like, kind of caught off guard. I was like, why do they care about my opinion? But I was like, the oranges were okay. Like they could have been juicier. I'm not like an orange connoisseur. And they just thought that was so funny and they started laughing. So I don't know what that means. But that's what I dreamt of last night. I've had more interesting and cool dreams, like if I were to like look back at my dream journal, but that was just on my mind because it just happened. I don't know. It's just kind of random. Sometimes my
That's
dreams make
so.
no sense, and sometimes they're like crazy deep adventures.
Have you heard about uh I've it's like dream work. I've seen it on TikTok like last year or something, saying that like when you're in a dream, like you don't ask about like the time or the year. Like, is that true?
No. So like I make content about this a lot because there's a lot of like
Uh-huh.
misconceptions and people like to spread
Yeah.
fear about don't do this in a dream, don't do that. So when you're like lucid, you can essentially do whatever you want. Like it's a place for you to explore and you're safe in your own mind, right? The reason people say that
Mm-hmm.
is because sometimes they'll try to like be like, "Oh, you're all in my dream. This is fake," or "What time is it?" or whatever. Like
Yeah.
and maybe something happened, the dream character looked at them weird, like nothing bad, like dreams and
No,
nightmares
yeah.
can happen, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
But I do that in my dreams all the time. Like I'll ask what time is it, what year is it. One time I was in like the future, like it was like 30, 40. I was like trying to find out who the president was and stuff.
Who was the president, girl?
I didn't get to that part. Like I don't remember all the details. But yeah, like I do it all the time. Basically nothing happens. I guess I just want to like help dispel the fear of like don't do this in a dream, like don't do that, don't do this because it's like honestly dreams are thought responsive, right? So like the more if you're
Mm-hmm.
anxious and scared, like the dream's going to reflect that back to you. A big thing with
Mm-hmm.
lucid dreaming is like what are you thinking about and projecting onto the dream because the dream reacts in that way and like your dream control depends on like how confident and your mindset, right? So
Mm-hmm.
limiting beliefs is a huge thing. So if you expect something bad to happen because you saw it on
It's
TikTok,
gonna happen.
yeah, maybe like, you're definitely gonna like influence the dream with your anxiety about it. But it just about exploring, like figuring out what happens in a dream. Like you're in your own mind, you're safe.
No, yeah. Um, so you know what sleep paralysis is, right?
Yeah. Do you
Do
get
you,
it? Do you have it?
I do. It's not as often. Have you?
Yeah, I used to get it all the time. So sleep paralysis is basically like, our body naturally does this when we sleep. Like we protect
Yeah.
ourselves by paralyzing, right? But then if you're awake and you mentally realize that you're in this in-between phase where you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to fall asleep. It used to happen to me a lot, and then at first I used to be scared of it, but I eventually kind of took control and got used to it, and I'm not scared of it anymore. I actually like it, and I use it to
Mm-hmm.
like turn into a lucid dream or like I just
Yeah.
explore this weird liminal phase. The cool thing about consciousness is like there's being awake and then there's being asleep, right? And then there's this
Yeah.
weird in between spectrum of like liminal
Mm-hmm.
where you're half awake, half asleep, your body's not fully asleep yet, or your mind is awake, but your body's asleep. So consciousness is an interesting thing. Like the mind and body kind of start to separate at that point.
Yeah. It's so interesting. I feel like I get a lot of my downloads like that at first. I when I was getting it, it was like it was horrible, girl. Like I started hearing things. Like I'm really into like aliens. Back in the day, I watched a movie called like Fourth Kind, and all I heard was like, I was like, what the fuck? And then like I don't know, maybe it's because like I'm very like sensitive and like heightened to like stuff where like I feel people like or not a person but something breathing on me. That was me in high school, girl. Okay, like to the point where like um when it first happened, I had taken a nap, but it was like an out of body experience, and out of nowhere, like I'm sleeping, and then like that like sleep paralysis, and next thing you know, Cynthia's over here, but her body's here, and then she's levitating, and I'm like, what is going on?
Wow, that's cool. That sounds scary
maybe
though.
maybe that was a dream. I don't know, but
Well, yeah, that's dreams and out of body experiences start to get fuzzy when you try to define them, but they kind of overlap sometimes. You can have out of body experiences while awake or asleep or anywhere in between, I think.
Yeah, that I'm happy that I have them when I'm asleep because I can't
Yeah,
imagine
I
disassociating
know.
when you're awake.
Yeah.
That's pretty bizarre. But anyways, to finish what I was saying, just like sleep paralysis for me, I think that is I like to be in it because then it's weird. Like I get visions, I hear things, like my clairaudient, like and it's like I don't know if you ever had this. It's like a microphone dream where it's like I don't see nothing, but it's and I can't move, but I'm like awake, but I can't move. And I just start hearing someone talk. And I'm just like and then like I try to talk back, but it's like hard. And I'm like, okay, Cynthia, you're in this like half asleep, half awake state, like don't fight it. Just let whoever the fuck is talking because it's like a message or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Wow, that's cool. It seems like, yeah, that's good. You're really in tune with it. And I do think that sometimes, like, there's sentience behind the dream, like beyond whether it's our guides, our higher self, like
no, yeah,
people on our team that know more than us. They're like, you're going to listen to this.
I know. And I'm like, you fucking ass. You don't need to like put me in this state. Oh my gosh. But do you have any advice for anyone that's getting into like the field that you were in?
Yeah, and I guess this applies to like anything that you're passionate about, but just like really don't care about what people think. If you want to post the video, post the video. Like, don't overthink it. Post the podcast or whatever, just kind of start it. It always gets better. Your first podcast or whatever is never going to be like the
Yeah.
best one. And if it comes to like you want to be a lucid dream coach, just start, making content online and telling people about it and normalize talking about dreams. Um, and yeah, just getting involved with like the whole dreaming community.
No, yeah. Um, what is your favorite thing about like what you do?
Probably like hearing somebody be like, "Oh my God, I had my first lucid dream and like it was awesome. I did this." And like watching that click of it like changing their life of like, "Wow, that was like the most lucid I've ever been," is really awesome. It feels good.
So we can actually be in control when we're like dreaming, like you assist people to be in control.
Yeah, so like another common misconception is that lucid dreaming means you can control the dream, which a lot of times they go together,
Yeah.
but you can be aware without controlling the dream, right? Like you said, you're aware, but like all this stuff is happening, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Hmm.
But as you get better and build on this skill and practice, you can, change the dreamscape, talk to anybody you want, you can fly around. I have a list of like a million things you can do on
Hmm.
my website, like in a lucid dream.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it for fun stuff, but a lot of people use it for like, working on things, practicing speeches and papers, and you know, dealing
Oh,
with issues with
wow.
somebody. Yeah, or even like doing your own inner shadow work. There's so many things you can use lucid dreaming for. People even use it to practice skills like skateboarding tricks. And there was like research done on this and how it like actually helps your
Oh, yeah.
performance in waking life. So yeah, lucid
Oh,
dreaming is
wow.
awesome.
Okay. No, that sounds fun. Huh. I need to go back. There was a journal that I got at Five Below, but I left it back in Virginia, and it was like literally called a dream journal.
Oh,
And it like the way that it was laid out and it had quotes and stuff. I need to find a new one. I like structure and just like quotes and stuff, like a guided book instead of I know you can get like just like a regular like journal and start writing, but like that journal had like, what was an interpretation, what was a purpose, how did you feel?
that's cute. Yeah. Yeah. Find what works for you. There's so many cute things just online and around and even apps and stuff. But some people like the physical writing better. So do what
No,
works for you.
yes. I love it. Oh my God. Okay, girl. I'm gonna go on and pull some cards for you. And
Yay.
while I do that, I need you to go on and let us know where we can find you. Even though I'm gonna put it in the show notes, girl, but still, your podcast, all that, your services.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So the dreamworldpodcast.com, that's my website. If you Google that, it'll show up. It's the same handle on all the social medias, TikTok, YouTube, all the things. And yeah, I really appreciate you chatting.
I love it. Yes, same, girly. Same. You ever dream about alien?
Yeah, I had like an alien abduction dream the other day. I wonder if I was like really being abducted or not. They like
Probably,
levitated
girl.
me out of my car. I was like, oh my God, it was really scary.
That's so crazy.
Yeah,
Oh
especially with
my
all this alien
God.
stuff going on. Now we know they're real and shit.
Have you ever been like, even prior to like everything that's happening right now, like you had your beliefs in aliens?
Oh yeah,
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 me
yeah.
too.
I
Me
had no
too.
doubt. Like, duh.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no doubt at all.
Um, when I there was a specific dream, it's so weird, like because like I feel like the ones that you can remember are like a message. There was one before, like way in my childhood, and it was like it was in my mom's backyard, and there was a fucking spaceship, and then little Cynthia like walks out, and I'm like, and it's funny because they had, what do you call it? You know the like that head thing. It was like of Mickey Mouse. Like the head was like Mickey Mouse. What do you call that?
Like a
It's gonna bother
mascot
me.
head, kind
Yeah,
of
yeah. The
helmet
mascot
thing.
head. It was all like Disney. And there was like some villains and stuff. And I went out and I was just looking. And then in my mind, I'm like, I'm wondering if those were like, part of my guides. Like, I don't know. But like, you have like a little 7-year-old and you're not trying to scare the shit out of her?
That's so
They knew
funny.
what they were doing.
I love that. They were like,
Maybe I was.
we come in peace."
I know, as Disney characters, like, what are you doing like that? Okay, sorry.
I told you the most random dream ever. It just was on my mind recently, but I've had some really interesting ones too.
Did you want to
Actually,
share
just
one?
well, I actually just made a YouTube video, so I'll send it to you
Ooh,
later
girl,
of like all my lucid
yes.
dreams, like lucid specifically, just like all the random things I've done.
No, yeah. Love that. All right. So I pulled from like my other deck, but I pulled from like two decks here. So where is it? I don't want to channel. I just want to, even though I'm probably going to channel. So we have, oh my gosh, we just had a super moon. You know that, right? The one in Taurus.
Yeah, that's why I picked the moon deck.
Girl. Ooh, I don't know if you can see. So we have the super moon, and this is attraction. You can be magnetic to others and attract the good things in life. You can repel what you no longer wish to attract. Be ready for opportunity. Avoid extremes that might cause negative imbalance in your body or mind. Um, think of connections greater than yourself. It's just like a very simple message. I'm not going to get too deep into it.
I like that.
And then we have the card of surrender. Surrender. Dude, I love the moon. I used to have another deck with like the zodiac signs and stuff. That one was pretty nice, but I think I like this. This was like I think this is my first Oracle deck. But we have surrender, and this is surrendering does not mean giving up, letting go of what you no longer need. Um, Stop being so stubborn about holding on to aspects and behaviors that don't align with who you are. Now stop struggling. And then the affirmation is I let go, I surrender my struggle, I allow the universe to work with me.
Love that. That's important.
Oh, and then this is the last one. I think I'm going to channel this one. And this is puberty. Puberty. And with this, so like I work with the chakras. Do you know anything about the chakras?
Like a basic amount, I think.
Okay. So with this one, it's all about um it's the sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is like our womb space. And this is where, we create things, and this is creativity, but also the water element. This is like emotions, this is vulnerability, and this is openness. So that's the message with this. So you have the attraction, and then you have the surrender, and then just the purity. The message that I'm getting is just like tapping into Amina's like childlike spirit. Does that
Love
make
it.
sense? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like
Okay,
that.
okay.
I think all those three go together very nicely for me.
Yes, I love it. Okay.